Hey YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is LaDonna and I am a first-year homeschooling mom of two. I have a 5th grade son and a 3rd grade daughter, and on my channel I just like to share how we're growing, what we're learning, and what God is doing. And today's video is a part of an open collaboration hosted by Jessica from the Waldock Way and Abby from Rooted in Rest. I'm going to link both of their channels in the description box below, along with a playlist that will be full of other videos just like this. Now, today's topic is all about books, our favorite books. I'm just assuming that there will be a lot of homeschooling books that are shared, maybe personal growth, spiritual growth, you know, parenting, that kind of thing. I do not have a lot of homeschooling books to share with you because I am a new homeschooling mom. However, I am going to share with you the books that have made the greatest impact in my life, just as a mother, as a wife, and as a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm also going to share with you some of my favorite Bible studies. So let's go ahead and jump in. I've kind of got them all scattered around, so let me think about where I want to start. Let's think about that. Okay, I'm just going to share this. I think that these books fall in the category of spiritual growth. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Some of these books are older. Some are kind of newer. You can find them on Amazon. So let's go ahead and jump in. I have Made to Crave, Satisfying Your Deepest Desire with God, Not Food by Lysa TerKeurst. I love a lot of her books. This is one of my favorites that she has written. It really gets to the heart of what it is that we're craving, and it really made a difference in my life, and even just the way I approach food and deal with food. Another one of her books that I really love, it's called Uninvited, Living Loved When You Feel Less Than, Left Out, and Lonely. So this is another one of hers. She has quite a few. Like I said, I love all of hers, but those are the two that have really made the biggest impact. The next one, what do I want to share with you? This one is called Suffering Strong by Catherine and Jay Wolfe. I don't know if you've heard about Catherine and Jay Wolfe and just their ministry to everyone and how they share the gospel through their testimony of what happened in Catherine's life. This is their 2nd book. I would really encourage you to check them out. They have impacted people all over this world when it comes to suffering, and this is just a beautiful message that they share, and they're still living it. You can find them on Instagram, any kind of social media platform if you're just looking for some encouragement, but I love them. That was a really great book if you want a deeper understanding of what it means to suffer. The next one I have is by Katie Davis Major. It's called Daring to Hope, Finding God's Goodness in the Broken and the Beautiful. So this is Katie's 2nd book, and this is about the young girl who, where did she move? Yeah, this is about the young girl who moved to Uganda, and she accidentally founded an organization and adopted all these girls, and this is just how she deals with some of the loss and difficulties she had to face. And this really encouraged me. I read this during, you know, a not so great time in life and in ministry, and it's just really beautiful. If you're looking for something, or if you haven't read her 1st book, read her 1st book and then read this book. But if you're just looking for some encouragement, I would encourage you to check this out. Okay, another book. I actually have 2 right here that I accidentally bought, and I've had them for a while because usually what I do is I date these books. Now, I say that I didn't date this one, but the other one, it is dated. It's dated from 2016, but I accidentally found them and bought them and loved them. But this one is called The Grave Robber, How Jesus Can Make Your Impossible Possible by Mark Batterson. He is a pastor out in Washington, D.C. These are really super easy reads, encouraging reads the back of it says, sometimes it's hard to believe that God still does miracles. We don't expect him to move in miraculous ways in our day in and day out lives. Maybe we'd like to see miracles, but it's hard to see past our problems. All that is about to change. So it goes through the life of Christ and the miracles that he performed within his ministry. And he also teamed up with Right Now Media. I don't know if you're familiar with Right Now Media, but there is a video series that goes along with this. And I watched it as I read this, and it's really good. He is an author and a pastor, and he has a ton of other books. He's famous for Circle Maker. So if you've read that or have that devotion, he's the author of that. This one is the second one by Mark Batterson as well that I accidentally stumbled upon. It's called Trading Your If Only Regrets for God's What If Possibilities. And I really loved this one too. This one was very influential just in my obedience to the call of ministry. Basically, this just goes through Romans chapter 8. I don't know if you're familiar with Romans chapter 8, but it's known as the Great 8. And he just takes you through Romans chapter 8 and breaks it down and just kind of helps you see it and learn from it. And, you know, it's good. I wanted to share it. If you haven't heard of those books, or if you're looking for something, definitely check those out. Okay, the next one I want to share with you is Everybody Always, Becoming Love in a World Full of Setbacks and Difficult People by Bob Goff. I love Bob Goff, and I love this book. This is a beautiful book. This is a powerful book, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's all about what it means to love the people in our life and the people around us. And it's just a beautiful display of Christ. He's funny, he's fun, and you know, he shares personal testimony for the opportunities he's had in his life and the opportunities he's had within his family's life. But this is definitely a must read. I really do love that one. The second one I have here, you're probably going to scratch your head, but I like this book, and I like it for a couple of reasons. It is a money book, and I know that there are a lot of books out there about managing your money, but this one seems to be the most simplest and attainable. I know sometimes I feel like all of those other resources out there that I just can't do it, but I really like this book, this approach. It's a small book, it's easy to read, and it encouraged me. So I just wanted to share it if you've never heard of it. It's called The Money Challenge, 30 Days of Discovering God's Design for You and Your Money by Art Rainer. So you can see it's really small, and it's really good. And I really like the presentation of the book. Basically, he's telling a story of an individual who is basically in a financial crisis and wants to get out of the crisis, and with each step throughout the story, he steps away from the story and then breaks the step down to the reader. So it's really easy, really simple, really good. This next one that I read this, I think it's been about 2 years ago. It's a really good read. It's an easy read, and it's an impactful read. It's called Even Better Than Eden, 9 Ways the Bible Story Changes Everything About Your Story, and I believe her last name is pronounced Guthrie, but it's by Nancy Guthrie. And I really do love Nancy. I love her work. She has a powerful testimony as well. If you don't know much about her, I would encourage you to check her out. This is not her newest book, but it is one of her newer books, and I really loved it. So the next one I have for you is The Resolution for Women by Priscilla Shirer. We went through it as a group at church, like when the Courageous movie came out. So that's how long ago it's been. Yeah, so this copyright is 2011, so let's say 2012. Really good. If you have not read this, I'd encourage you to check it out. I love Priscilla Shirer's work. Very powerful, and I like that she is able to explain something and then show you how to apply it. So really good. The last one that I have right here for this group is called Audacious by Beth Moore, and this one was really good. The back of it says, if you only knew, 30 years in the making, Audacious is a deep dive into the message that has compelled her to serve women around the globe. Glancing over the years of ministry behind her and strengthening her resolve to call before her, she came to the realization that her vision for women was incomplete. It lacked something they were aching for, something Jesus was longing for. She identifies the missing link by digging through Scripture, unearthing life experiences, and spotlighting a turning point with the capacity to infuse any life with holy passion and purpose. What was missing? Let's just say it's audacious, and it's for all of us, and it's the path to life we were all born to live. And basically she just talks about how we have to be audacious with whatever God has called us to and put in front of us, and we also have to be audacious with the gospel of Christ, making the most of every opportunity and sharing it with everyone. So really good, made a lasting impression. What do I want to share with you now? I'll share these two. Another one that I like that was really recent, a recent read, it's called Get Out of Your Head, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts by Jennie Allen. I really like Jennie Allen. I've done some of her Bible studies and I've read some of her other work, and this is definitely a must read for life right now. So I'm not really into self-help books, and this is not a self-help book. This is actually a biblical approach to toxic thoughts, but she's just, if you haven't read any of her stuff, you need to know she's pretty real, she's raw, she's honest, and she just kind of shares what she went through and what God did in her life through it and how she walked from it. So it's really good. The next one I have for you that I really enjoyed, it's called The Storm-Tossed Family, How the Cross Reshapes the Home by Russell Moore. This book is not necessarily an easy read. You can see that the book is thicker, the words are smaller, there's more on the page, but it's really good. I'll just read the back of it. It says that this book teaches readers, whether you are married or single, whether you long for a child or shepherding a full house, you are part of a family. Family is difficult because every family is an echo of the gospel. Family can be the source of some of the most transcendent human joy, and family can leave us crumbled up on the side of the road. Family can make us who we are, and family can break our hearts. Why would this social arrangement have that much power for good or for ill over us? The only safe harbor for a storm-tossed family is the nail-scarred home. So it just kind of goes through everything, every scenario, every experience, and he points it back to the gospel and what it means. And I just found it to be eye-opening and helpful, especially in ministry and just even with my personal experience. But I really did, and I really do love it. So what am I sharing with you? I'm going to share this one. This one's just a fun read. This one is called Sparkling Green Earrings, Catching the Light at Every Turn. It's by Melanie Shankle, and this is one of her first books. It's just a memoir of her little girl Caroline, you know, being pregnant and then having Caroline and then watching her grow up. But it's really funny. I wish I could say I've read her other books. I never got around to it. Like I said, this one's her first one, but she's on Instagram and other social media platforms. I like to follow her. She makes me giggle. She's a really talented author, and she just does a great job of storytelling. So I really liked that one. If you're looking for just a summer read, something fun, something easy, something light, definitely check out her other ones. So this one's about her daughter. She's got one on friendship, one on marriage. I've heard really great things about them, but I've never gotten around to reading them. Okay, moving on. So I don't have any homeschool books. I am going to share some parenting books, and then I'll even share a marriage book with you. Now, just because I'm sharing it does not mean I have it all figured out. I will never ever claim that. You know, parenting and marriage is something I have to depend fully and completely on the Lord for, but these are some resources that have made a difference in my life. First one is Raising Kids for True Greatness, Redefine Success for You and Your Child. This is a book by Dr. Tim Kimmel, and this is an older book. I read this, I think, like after my firstborn was born, and he's fixing to turn 11, but really good, clear message that I still think back on. So if you haven't read this, I would encourage you to read it. The next one I just recently finished. It's not a new book, it's an older book, The Mission of Motherhood, Touching Your Child's Heart for Eternity. It was a beautiful book, definitely an impactful book, one that I had to ingest over time. I couldn't read a lot at once. I had to take it in piece by piece, but a lot to think about, a lot to pray about. Great encouragement. Okay, the marriage book that I have right here, this is probably my favorite marriage book, and then this is also the resource that my husband uses for marriage counseling, but I really love it. It's by Gary Thomas, and I know that some people feel like that he can be more of an idealist, but the topic and what's discussed is you know, not one that you hear often when it comes to marriage. So this one is called Sacred Marriage. What if God designed a marriage to make us holy more than to make us happy? So it's a beautiful book, powerful book. It's broken up into a few sections. Look, I spilled coffee on it and all of the pages still stick together. So yeah, there are 14 different chapters. It ends with basically the mission of marriage and its purpose and why God created it, and it's a really beautiful book. This book I read a couple years ago. I really like this book. Definitely one I read super fast. It was not easy to put down, but it's a message for today. I kind of feel like if you're a parent or a grandparent, or just any person in general, should really read this book. It's called Sex, Jesus, and the Conversation the Church Forgot, and I really don't have to say anything about it because it's exactly what you think it is. A story of testimony and a story of redemption, and it shines light on a difficult topic, one that isn't talked about. My husband and I, we did college ministry, and I just kind of felt like it was extremely necessary for me to read, but it also ended up ministering to me as well. So definitely one I would encourage you to check out. I did get like a piece of computer paper and I put it over the cover and the spine when I was reading it. I know that probably sounds cheesy, but you never know. I'll just show you some of my favorite ministry books. This one, I read this one last year. It's called The Painful Side of Leadership, Moving Forward Even When It Hurts. This is an incredible resource. This was actually a book I had to read for one of my school assignments. I had never heard of it, but I'm so glad that I did because now I recommend this book to so many others. I've even gifted it, and it is just beautiful. But he talks about the painful side and how to move forward and to keep going, and it's just a great resource. Another one that I love, probably my favorite thing on servanthood, it's called On Being a Servant of God, and it's by Warren Wiersbe. I don't know if I say his name right, but this is really beautiful. It's not a big book. Simple read, an easy read. The back says, do you ever lose sight of the purpose of your ministry? Feel overwhelmed by the needs that surround you? Wish you had some real encouragement? Every pastor experiences feelings of inadequacy and loneliness at some time in ministry, serving others, and God is not easy. Warren, the pastor's pastor, knows firsthand the struggles and triumphs of life service brings. He invites you to listen to 30 short chats. He shares what he wishes he had known about before ministering to others, and he shares years of experience and wisdom. So just definitely a treasured resource for anybody's library who's in ministry. Okay, these two books are for pastors' wives. I love these two books. If you are a minister's wife, I would encourage you to read them, or if you just want to gift your pastor's wife with a book, these would be great options. The first one is called Sacred Privilege, Your Life and Ministry as a Pastor's Wife by Kay Warren. It's a pretty thick book. I loved this book. Now, like any other resource, you know, you just have to not be critical in your reading, but you know, you just eat the meat and you throw away the bones. This book, I'm not saying that this book had a lot of bones. There was a lot of meat to it, but there is a lot to relate to in this. You know, the back says, life as a pastor's wife offers meaningful opportunities to play a significant part in God's work, to witness and participate in the beauty of changed lives, yet it also carries the potential for deep wounds and great conflict that can drain the joy out of service. Is it worth it? Oh yes, says Karen, co-founder of Saddleback Church. It is more than worth the risk. It's a sacred privilege. So she just kind of shares her 40 years of experience, and she provides encouragement, and she shares lessons she's learned along the way, and she's also very intentional in helping the reader when it comes to dealing with certain things, like how to adapt to change, accept who you are, help your children survive and thrive, protect your private life, deal with criticism, live with integrity, and develop an eternal perspective. So I read this several years ago, and it was exactly what I needed for that season. It's a beautiful message and a great resource. The second one I just recently read because it is brand new, like hot off the press. Let me see what the copyright is. Yeah, 2021, I think. It came out in January, but this one's called Help, I'm Married to My Pastor's, Help, I'm Married to My Pastor, Encouragement for Ministry Wives and Those Who Love Them. So her name is, it's by Janie Ortlund. Now this book is a lot smaller, but she and her husband have been in ministry for almost 50 years, and it is just full of wisdom and practical advice, like when it comes to dealing with, you know, depression and your children in ministry and just other personal things. If you're looking for a practical resource, this is a good one. Okay, what else do I want to share with you? The only homeschooling book that I have is my favorite homeschooling book. So it's Homeschooling 101, A Guide to Getting Started. This is what I devoured when I knew that the Lord was calling us to homeschooling, and it made the greatest impact. If you have not read this book, I'd encourage you to read it. Valuable resource. Okay, I should have shared this with my parenting one, but I guess it's kind of like a devotion. I wanted to share some of these devotions with you. The Power of a Praying Parent by Stormy O. Martin. I really love this book. This is one where I just pick up every so often, read the chapter and the prayer and the Bible verses that go with it. If you don't have it, I'd encourage you to buy it. I know that there is one called The Power of a Praying Mother, but I really like The Power of the Praying Parent, just some of the things that are discussed and talked about. This is something moms and dads can both use. The other devotion that I really like, it's called Devotions for Sacred Parenting. This one's by Gary Thomas. So you saw Sacred Marriage. I got this for Mother's Day last year, and I really, really loved it. There are, let me see, I think there's 52 devotions in here. Really good. Really powerful. I have not read the parenting book, but the devotion I really loved. Another one that I really like is by Nancy Guthrie. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but this one is Praying Through the Bible for Your Kids. It's a one-year Bible. I love this. I did this several years ago, I think, when it came out, and it's just so beautiful and so powerful, and it's exactly what it looks like. You know, at the top it's dated, and then you have your Bible verses that you read through, and then she highlights a verse, and you have devotion, and then you have a prayer. But she takes you through the entire Bible in 1 year. So I love this. I've given this as Christmas gifts and baby shower gifts and all that other good stuff. And I wanted to share this. This is another one of my favorite reading through the Bible plans. It's called Foundations by Robbie and Candy Gatley. I think I'm saying their name right. Gatley. This one is for the entire Bible. I know they've got a New Testament one. I think that they're working on an Old Testament one, but really good if you're just looking for a Bible reading plan, those are two of my favorite resources. Okay, this book is called The Epic of Eden. It's a Christian entry into Old Testament. If you're just looking for something to help you better understand the Old Testament, this is what I would encourage you to read. Yes, this is a school book, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. The author, Sandra, her intention was to write this not only for the minister, but also the layman. So the presentation is not difficult to comprehend. So I really love it. I like to encourage people to use that one. And then another one is The Forgotten Jesus, How Western Christians Should Follow an Eastern Rabbi. And this one's by Robbie Gadley too. I really loved this. This definitely opened up my eyes to, you know, the fact that our culture kind of hinders us from understanding the culture of Christ. So loved that one. Okay, I want to share with you real quick how much time we got. I don't want this video to be long. My favorite Bible studies. So I'm just kind of going to run through them, okay? How's that sound? Okay. Breaking Free by Beth Moore. This one, Children of the Day. It is a study of 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. This one is a Beth Moore Bible study too. This one is Gideon, Your Weakness, God's Strength. I loved Gideon. This one is Seamless, Understanding the Bible as One Complete Story, Angie Smith. This one is a beautiful study, just extremely helpful when it comes to understanding the Bible. So if you only get one, I'd encourage you to get this one. This one, The Armor of God by Priscilla Shirer. Love that one. This one is Entrusted, a study of 2 Timothy. This one's by Beth Moore. I loved that one too. This one, another one. If you can only get two, get the other one and get this one. Steadfast Love, a study of Psalm 107 by Lauren Chandler. Just a beautiful study. There's also a book on this. So if you didn't want to do the Bible study, you could get the book. This one is called Detours, Lessons from Joseph, The Unpredictable Path to Your Destiny, Tony Evans. I really loved this one too. This one is God of Creation, a study of Genesis, chapter 1 through 11. It's by Jen Wilkin. I love this one. And then No Other Gods, The Unrivaled Pursuit of Christ by Kelly Minter. A beautiful study. We recently did this at our church 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago. And then this one, I really loved this one by Christy McClendon. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right. Jesus and Women in the First Century and Now. So beautiful and so helpful. So, okay, friends, that's what I have for you. I hope that this encouraged you. I hope it inspired you to read. I would love to know what books have impacted your life. Tell me about it below in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.